What is up? My name is Makak, and this is Room 51, where we talk all things board gaming. Today I'm coming at you with a segment called Mind Over Meta, where I combine my two loves, psychology and board gaming, together. And when I say psychology, I also mean social issues, because psychology and social issues are very much intertwined. Today, I'm going to be talking about what I've seen in terms of discrepancies between the way other social issues have been handled and treated in the board gaming hobby and how the anti-trans issues have been treated. Now, this will all be in the microcosm of the hobby industry and content creation in board gaming specifically. I'm going to be covering this in three main things. Number one, guilt and reputation. Number two, sensationalism and entertainment. And number three, capitalism. Let's do this. Before I get into all of this, if you don't know, if you're new to this channel, first of all, welcome. Second, I am non-binary, trans-masculine, and if we're gonna get real specific, I consider myself demi-boy. A demi-boy. Yes. So here we are with guilt and reputation. Something I had noticed over, this really happened during lockdown quarantine mode during the pandemic, where the Black Lives Matter movement really soared. It became very prominent in, social media and everything, and rightfully so. It needed to happen. And certain things took place. So there was a huge reaction within the board gaming community where, folks were interviewing Black folks, either people who were designers, content creators, and the such within the board gaming sphere. People wearing particular channels' t-shirts that represented advocacy for people of color in board gaming, including trying to advocate for more players, more people of color to actually play board games and feel more welcomed in the board gaming sphere. All fantastic stuff, right? There's been a huge discrepancy, though, between that movement and what's going on right now in terms of anti-trans legislations that are going on. So my question is, what about trans t-shirts? Why are people not wearing t-shirts about, trans rights and being pro-trans? I know for dang well, nobody's wearing Room 51 t-shirts going around and feeling all good about themselves. And why is this? So I'm not trying to pit the two social issues against each other. It's more okay, why is there a discrepancy? I think that a lot of what happened for let's say, the BLM movement was that folks were feeling guilty and they wanted to also have a good reputation, right? So people were coming out, again, wearing t-shirts, they were coming out with statements. This was both content creators, publishers, designers, all that sort of jazz, right? And specifically, I'm talking about white people. Doing these things, and I think that a lot of it came out of guilt, where perhaps, sure, we believe in these things, right? We believe that, of course, Black Lives Matter, right? But was it also something else? Was there also something else going on there? Did you feel guilty for not being aware of these issues, or not giving more of a welcoming space to people of color? Were you also trying to give in to the popular reputation at the time to support these issues? And so my question is, and by the way, I did the same thing, okay? I posted a statement, I interviewed Our Family Plays Games, and who's a fantastic channel, by the way. Go ahead and check them out. They are great. As well as a lot of other channels who host people of color, or who are run by people of color. My question is then, well, why do people not feel the same way now with trans issues that are going on? Why are people not feeling guilty? Why are they not feeling like this is a good thing to do in terms of reputation and all that? And why is it that people don't feel this urgency to say something and speak up and make them feel like a good person? Because a lot of times that's sort of what it is, right? We're targeting the id, the ego, the super ego, where we want to feel like good people. And so even if we are essentially good people, we're going to do certain things. We might overcompensate a little bit too, while we try to figure out our own biases. And that's perfectly fine within that process. My question is, why is it happening for certain issues and not other issues? I could even get into the whole abortion issue and why people didn't, speak up or anything like that. But that's not what this video is about. I'm talking about LGBTQ plus issues, specifically trans issues today. This leads me to sensationalism and entertainment. So first, I want to give the benefit of the doubt that perhaps you had no idea that there's a bunch of really bad things happening for trans folks. Right now, there are over 400 bills that have been introduced that target LGBTQ plus folks, particularly trans folks, with an emphasis on trans youth. And right now, by the way, I'm speaking about the United States. I want to make that clear. There are things going around all over the world. I'm just talking about the United States because that's what I know most about. These bills are targeting healthcare access, schools and education, free speech and expression, and so much more. As of right now, from like the past 3 months, 35 of these bills have been passed into law across 14 states so far. I will provide a link to the ACLU website that is tracking all this data right now, as well as 2 different YouTubers that have come out with videos. I really like these YouTubers. They are trans folks, and these specific videos go into a deep dive exploration into the issues of anti-trans legislation and culture and government. I will not be covering all those things because I want to specifically speak about the board game hobby and what's going on in the board game hobby and what we could do better to promote trans inclusivity. In terms of sensationalism and entertainment, other issues had been blowing up on social media, specifically social media, and YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff, right? There's been great slogans, there's been awesome t-shirts, and I am really sick and tired of people treating social issues like they are a popular trending song on TikTok. And what I mean by this is people are using things or using social issues to become popular. Right? And I want to make it clear that I'm not talking about the marginalized folks who are being hurt by all these issues. I'm talking about folks who are trying to uplift these voices, but really are using it as a way to garner better reputation, right? And using it as like an entertainment, feeding into the sensationalism. Why can't I say this word? Sensationalism of these issues, okay? Because these are not things, this is not a dramedy where we could just like use these things to, garner more viewers and subscribers and everything. And perhaps that was not even like your intent, right? I don't think it was my intent when I did these things specifically during the BLM movement. But essentially, that's kind of what happens, right? It's like, oh, you're a good person. You agree with these things. I will subscribe, I will view, I will watch, right? And social issues are so much more than that. It's more than wearing a t-shirt. It's more than saying a slogan, okay? It's about like actually uplifting these voices. I think the bottom line is people care more about their reputation and money more than anything else, which leads me into capitalism. Some folks might remember that a few months ago, there was a whole controversy with Wizards of the Coast in terms of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rule sets. There was a file coming out. There was a contract coming out about if those who use, the, basic rule sets of Dungeons & Dragons will owe money to Wizards of the Coast. And people who've already made things based off of the D&D system will also owe money to Wizards of the Coast. And so people freaked out. People were, really angry, rightfully so, and they went ahead and boycotted D&D Beyond. They canceled their subscriptions. They said they would not have this. And yet, at the same time, there was a very particular game that was coming out. A little one. You might have heard of it. It's called Hogwarts Legacy. And I said in a previous video, I have a whole video on this about like J.K. Rowling and her anti-trans. She's a TERF, okay? That's it. She's a TERF. And what it means to produce games and any sort of Harry Potter merchandise and stuff. You could go ahead and check that video out if you want more clarification. But anyway, Hogwarts Legacy was coming out based on the Harry Potter franchise. And trans folks asked for people to boycott this video. Don't buy it. There's plenty of other video games that you could play. Because of J.K. Rowling being a part of this and like the whole anti-trans movement that she has done. Now, people were very quick with D&D to be like, I will not subscribe to D&D Beyond. But when we spoke about boycotting Hogwarts Legacy, people were like, well, that's not fair. Why? Why should I not be able to have fun in this video game and this platform that I love? I love Harry Potter. And don't get me wrong, I love Harry Potter too. But right now, maybe we shouldn't support it because trans people might be a little bit more important than Harry Potter, you know? So this just kind of leads me to believe people care more about their money than anything else, right? In terms of like actual human rights and decency. So my question is, where has been the conscious effort right now to include trans content creators, raise our voices, be seen more in board games, more trans designers in the industry, and so on and so forth? Is there not enough money, subscribers, viewers, incentive for it? Does it pose more of a risk right now to take a stance for trans rights? Will it hurt your company? Will it hurt you as a publisher, as a content creator, to raise our voices? Is that what matters most? Will you lose profit? Honestly, I don't know. I have no idea if any of these things would be true. But I do know that trans people are also important. I cannot name any really well-known trans designers or content creators. And when I say well-known, I mean like actually well-known. I'm talking like, you know, everybody knows Uwe Rosenberg, Jamie Stegmaier, at this point Elizabeth Hargrave, and so many others. But do you know about Nikki Valens? Do you know about Bez? I don't know. And honestly, those are the only two designers that I know that are trans. Please let me know if there are other trans designers out there. But in terms of well-known, there's not many. In terms of well-known content creators in the board gaming sphere, I know me. Although actually I'm not well-known. This channel has about like, I don't know how many subscribers. I don't think I'm very well-known, you know. I can't think of any board game content creators that are trans, that are well known in this hobby. That's kind of an issue. Why aren't there? And if there are, please, again, like, let me know down in the comments below. I would love to know these people. And when I say that, I mean well-known content creators. But also, please mention, like, not so well-known content creators that are trans, because it'd be great to like prop these people up. That's like the whole point of this video, is to prop trans people up. So I just want to end with, a lot of people are hurting right now. Trans people are being murdered as fast as our rights are. It cannot be just trans people talking about these issues and advocating for our rights. We need our cis allies to support us, lift our voices, and show the nation that we are not a threat to society. We are the ones in danger. And yet we will continue to exist despite all of this, just as we have for centuries. This is not a new concept. Trans people have been around forever. So I'm asking, let's see and welcome more trans people into the board gaming hobby. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all next time. Please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. And this has been Room 51.